May was one of my lower buy months. Usually I have a huge pile of things to share for my end of the month book haul, but I didn't do too much shopping in May, mostly because I am trying to save up money for my upcoming holiday. I leave next Wednesday, which will be about 8 days from the time that I put out this video, headed to England. So I'm trying to save some book shopping money and just, money to do whatever suits my fancy for the week. But I do have a few books here that are either things that I got for gifts or a few that I did get for myself, as well as a couple of bookish gifts. Mother's Day here in the US was at the beginning of this month of May, and my husband spoiled me with several really nice things. First of all, I told him that I wanted to read another Jamie Jo Wright. He got me Tempest at Annabelle's Lighthouse, and I did read it and I did enjoy it. So she is an author that I have DNF'd in the past a couple of times, but then I did read her book about Night Falls on Predicament Avenue is what it's called. And I did read that and liked it, and so thought I would give her another go, and I did like this book okay. And so for a certain mood, I think that I could probably read hers and enjoy them. So I'll be giving her another try again in the future, but he did get me that one. And I thought that the cover, someone else mentioned this too in another video, but the cover is kind of cool because it's not necessarily matte and it's not necessarily like gloss. It's just kind of iridescent. I don't know how well you guys can tell, but it's like a matte with an iridescent like filter. Anyway, it's a cool, kind of a cool cover. And then he got me Arabella by Georgette Hare, and I had never read anything by hers, although I have owned some of hers in the past. She writes Regency fiction, Regency era fiction, and I think that they are kind of vintage. Yeah, this one was published in 1949, so I have not yet read this, but I am looking forward to it. And then he wrapped these up. I thought this was funny, but he makes soap, and the idea when he started making soap was to make it to sell it. However, I keep getting into it, and so he bought this fragrance oil to make a lavender vanilla soap, and so he wrapped up the oil so that when I opened it, he could tell me that he was making me a batch of soap for Mother's Day. So that is still curing. It needs like 6 weeks, I guess. So probably about the time I get back from England to get all settled back into my normal routine, it'll be ready. He got me this pretty card, which I will not read to you, but that was really special, and we all laughed because he hardly ever gets me a card. Oh, and I saved a piece of the wrapping paper. This is the wrapping paper that he used. I can show you guys that. And then he also got me this World of Jane Austen puzzle, which if I don't start this today, I will start it tomorrow. I've been saving it for these few weeks because my kids are all gone to summer camp. They left this morning for summer camp. And so I've been saving it for a while they're gone to camp so that I can just sit and do it, uninterrupted and whatever, and then show them what I finished when they get home. So like I said, either today or tomorrow I will start that. And then I'm a part of a Facebook group where we do Secret Sister exchange once a month for like 6 months, and then you get a new Secret Sister. And so this month my Secret Sister sent me this book, Pearl in the Sand by Tessa Afshar, and I have not yet read anything by her. This is the second Tessa Afshar book that my Secret Sister has sent to me, so I'm really hoping to get to these soon. They are Christian fiction and biblical fiction, and this one is the story of Rahab. I've always liked reading about Rahab in different fictional accounts, and then of course in the Bible, so I think I will enjoy that. And then she also got me these cute paper plates that have different, they're supposed to look like, china for a tea party, but they're all paper. Those are really cute. And then I will put up a picture here because I've already got them hung back over here, but she got me these cute little mushroom lights, tiny little mushroom lights to hang around in my library. So that was really thoughtful. All right, and then the books that I purchased for myself, I picked this up to read in May and I never did get to it. So I need to read this probably this week. This is Lover's Vows This is a play by Elizabeth Inchbald, and it's the play that they are performing in Jane Austen's book Mansfield Park. I was reminded of the story because it was the May prompt for the Jane Austen birthday celebration that I've been sort of loosely following along. So the prompt was to read Lover's Vows in May, and then I believe we're reading Mansfield Park this month. I will probably just wait until July to read Mansfield Park, but I do want to read Lover's Vows and be ready for Mansfield Park. It's been a really long time since I've read Mansfield Park, and I think that I read it at a time when I was really new to the history of that era, and so I didn't make the connection that the play sort of mimics the story and vice versa in a way. I guess the story would mimic the play, but you know what I mean. And so I would like to read that and pick those things out, right? So I'm gonna go through that, and then I'll be all ready for July when I read Mansfield Park. And then I got another book by Elizabeth Inchbald. This is called A Simple Story. And I was just curious about her as an author. She was an author that I really wasn't familiar with. And so I just picked this up because it was advertised, at the same time that the play was advertised. And so I figured I would grab this as well. Not sure when I'll get to it, but I'm glad to have it. And then I ordered this, When the Day Comes by Gabrielle Meyer, because I had purchased book 3 in the series, and I did not realize that they go in order. And so one of my viewers told me so, thank you. And so I ordered book 1. I read it and I did like it. I didn't love it, but I liked it. And then I went and got the second book from the library and started it, and I will probably read it one of these days, but I think one of the things that's kind of bugging me about it, and I did decide to DNF and take it back to the library for now and then just pick it up later, is it's got 3 timelines. So there's like 3 different eras for this person, and that just seems like a lot. And it may just be that my mind has other priorities right now, but I think that I'll probably put this series away for a little bit and then possibly come back to it later. I also purchased the second volume of Emma and Lion, which I did enjoy. These are by Beth Brower, and I would really like to get a hold of book 3 before I leave and read it real quick. It doesn't take long, but just a couple hours. It's basically a thin journal, and a lot of the pages are like this. Well, not a lot, but some of them are like that, and so you can go through them pretty quick. It's a really fun story so far, and I'm really into it. So I got volume 2. And then if you watched my video on my summer school plan, you'll know that I picked up 2 books that I don't think I'm gonna like. And that is Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck and A Separate Piece by John Knowles. I picked these up because I am doing a little summer school plan for myself for the next 3 months, and one of my categories is high school nightmares. And so these are 2 books that I remember from high school that I just did not enjoy. I want to reread them and try to see from an adult perspective now what the importance of them is. Not that I don't think I've ever thought of them as unimportant, but why do they apply now? From what I remember, both of them were written at least as early as like the mid-50s, maybe even earlier than that. And so I'm just wondering, why do they apply now over, other more recently written books that could be teaching the same morals? I don't really know. We'll have to read and see. All right, and then I also got this book called Rooted. This is by Leanda Lynn Haupt, and it's a nature-y book. I talked a lot more about this in detail on my summer school video, but it is something for my summer school for my science and nature section. As I was standing there in the store, just kind of flipping through it a little bit, I really did enjoy the writing style of the passages that I read. And I just thought that they were very inspiring, and I was inspired by the little drawings and things. So I'm gonna go through this and just write a response to that and be inspired by her experiences with nature. And then finally, I have 3 books that I ordered off of Paperback Swap. But I have 3 books that I got from there. One is called Christmas by the Sea. I am just collecting Christmas books, those Christmas stories to read this winter. I just don't have very many Christmassy, moody books for the winter, so got that to put aside. And one of my friends recommended this author, and so thought I'd give her a try. And then another book that I ordered from that same site is called Jane and the Unpleasantness at Scargrave Manor by Stephanie Barron. This is a series of mystery books where Jane Austen is a detective. And I have started them in the past, but I hadn't gotten very far. And I have like books, I don't know where they are, but I think like 2 through 4, maybe 2 through 5. And so I needed to get book 1 so I could get started on that. And then the last book that I got from that site is called The Moon and the Mango Tree. This is by Pamela Bennings-Ewan. And I really don't know much about this. I don't even know how I ended up finding this book. It was kind of one of those rabbit hole things. I think that I remember when I was looking into this story that it's loosely based on an ancestor of the author, like maybe her grandmother. It's set in the 1920s, and it's about this woman who she's like trained opera singer, and her husband ends up getting like a job or transferred or something, and so she has to leave, you know, her place of opportunity where she's working as a singer, I guess, and go with him. He becomes a medical missionary to Siam and then also to Bangkok. And so she goes with him, but I guess she gets kind of, you know, looking over the fence for greener grass and ends up leaving and traveling to sing. It looks like she goes to Paris and then to Rome, so she can finally sing on stage and have it all. And then it looks like her, you know, conflict, of course, is, well, I just left my husband in order to have all of this, you know, fame and independence and whatever. And so we'll see what ends up happening with her. But the biggest reason why I got this book is because I wanted to read about some other places, right? I've started my Reading Around the World challenge, where it's just kind of like a lifetime challenge where I just want to read stuff from different places. And I made myself a little map journal book. Have I shown that to you guys yet? I don't think I have. And so this will be a really great one with like Siam and Bangkok, and Paris and Rome probably a little easier to find books about, but I'm not usually drawn to books about these more, you know, exotic sounding places. Whether or not they're really exotic, who knows, but so I thought that this would be a good book for that, to help me check off a couple of countries on my list. I don't think that Siam is actually called Siam anymore, but I'm not sure exactly what it's called now, so I'll put that up here on the screen for you guys. You guys probably already know. So that is my book haul for May. Some very sweet gifts, thoughtful gifts, and little treasures that I found myself. Next book haul will include whatever it is that I end up picking up on my trip. Hopefully some really great stuff. I have a couple of bookshops actually like scheduled in to my days. Like my plan is go to these bookshops and stay there for a while. So I'm sure I'll find some good stuff. Hope you guys are all doing well. Say hi in the comments. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.